It's 8:50 in the morning. It's the 25th day of July, 2024. It is 74 degrees and sunny. It is the first day of San Diego Comic Book Convention, so hopefully later on today we'll have some hints and stuff. But this happened. And I guess I should at least dedicate a couple minutes to talking about it. First off, I'm going to try not to be too insulting to Ginny D, but, you know, it's kind of hard. No, really. I mean, I don't like her, but I respect her. You know, I respect her game, and I respect that, you know, her target audience is what her target audience is, and she knows her target audience, and she knows how to shill to her target audience, and that's, you know, work. You might not like what she does, but she's got game, and she understands the game, and as she's getting older and her life is changing, she's changing what she does to remain relevant, you know, and also because her target audience is mostly D&D, she's got to continue to feed the beast because that's what pays her bills, especially since she knows that she can easily be replaced, as Wizards of the Coast has already done at least twice. So, and say what you will about her, and I will say that 90% of the time she pisses me the fuck off, and I don't agree with anything she says, but there's that 10% every now and then when she actually does something where you're like, oh, wait, yeah, she actually is smart. Wow, I can't believe she actually did that. And this is one of those times. So because she is shilling the new player's handbook for Wizards of the Coast, she's already got a copy or will have a copy by the end of Gen Con, and we already know that she's going to be doing reviews of it. She got a chance to sit down and interview Crawford. And if this feels staged, well, she is using a Mac. Who still uses Mac? It's, you know, in 2024, unless you're editing movies. All right. I mean, yeah. So, and where Crawford is sitting definitely looks staged. If you look at his little, yeah, that looks staged. That totally looks staged, dude. Oh, look at all these other games I have. Oh, look how this table, no. This looks like a scene. Yeah. There she is. No, God. There's no flattering. There we go. Okay. So this is the most flattering I can look at her and him together. So she interviewed Crawford about the state of 2024 D&D, 6e, 5e, whatever. Now, we know that she probably had a predetermined list of questions. We know that she probably had a predetermined list of parameters of what she could and couldn't say. So we know this was probably monitored and scripted as well as it could be. But she still did manage to get in a few things that, you know, under the radar that they missed. And the main gist of the discussion is, of course, the relevancy of previous editions to 2024 D&D and the it's not a new game, it's backwards compatible myth. And repeatedly in the interview, she gets Crawford to admit that, yeah, they changed everything. They've changed everything down to the bare bone. Sure, it uses stuff from previous editions, so I guess that's how it's backwards compatible. I mean, armor class from, you know, 1976 to armor class today, that's a word that hasn't changed, right? The math has changed, but the word has not changed. So the word is still backwards compatible. There's still armor class. There was a fighter class in the very first edition, and there's a fighter class in the new edition. So they're backwards compatible, right? We still use all the same dice, so we're backwards compatible. Basically, Crawford's argument now is it's backwards compatible because it uses stuff that they've already used. So you should understand armor class. Well, yeah, I guess if that's your definition of backwards compatible, then yes, it's backwards compatible because you're using the same rule set that you've used in the past. We know how the D20 engine works. We know how the 5e D20 engine works. A lot of us like the 5e D20 engine, even if we don't think it is the best engine for classic D&D or the D&D they've been trying to sell. Now, with all the changes, maybe finally the engine matches the hood, right? Maybe the 5E 2024 engine, the 6E engine actually works with the fluff. Don't know. Never going to play it. I'm never going to run it. Don't want to buy it, so I have no idea. Sorry. Allergies and my head is just not working today. So yeah, give her dues. Despite with the limited parameters she had to work with, she does get Crawford to all but say, yes, it is completely changed. Yes, we lied. Now, Wizards of the Coast has already been admitting in roundabout ways for the past couple weeks that they've lied. That they've lied about AI art, that they've lied about the game, the math, the system, what was not done, things that happened that, we now know that they scripted, and just the last 2 years, there's a lot of stuff that they said that they're now pretty much saying, yeah, we lied about that. And in regards to this particular topic, while he doesn't come out and say, I lied, while he doesn't actually ever come out and say, yes, it is a completely new edition, that's how much we've changed things, she does get him to fall into the trap on several occasions where he admits the changes and how the changes are so drastic that, yes, it's a new edition. Bare bones, if I have to buy a new player's handbook, that, in my mind, is a brand new edition. If I have to change a character I've been running so that it works under the new player's handbook, then yes, it's a new edition. Now, Crawford would argue that no, it's not, because it's backwards compatible. But as in his definition of backwards compatible, I think what Crawford's goldfish memory brain means is, well, it uses the same basic frame. So therefore, it's backwards compatible. If you understand strength from last year, from 4E, from 3E, from 2E, from 1E, from 0E, if you understand that, if you understand how an 18 is better than a 17, but not as good as a 20, it's backwards compatible. And technically, that's true. So technically, yes, it is backwards compatible because it uses the mechanics we're all familiar with. But if you're saying that it's backwards compatible because we haven't changed anything, we only, did what Pathfinder's doing with Pathfinder 2 Core. Pathfinder 2 Core is backwards compatible with Pathfinder 2nd Edition. They're changing things so it's no longer connected to the OGL. But it's, other than that, it's the same game. You can continue to play Pathfinder with 2nd Edition, or you can get Pathfinder's Core, and your character, from what I understand, undergoes very little. They are 100%, it's the same thing, just the names have been changed to protect the innocent. So, and changing the names and changing some things, but yeah, the math for the class, yeah. But what Crawford is saying is, yes, we have drastically changed the fighter class. It is completely and utterly different than the fighter class you're used to. If you made a fighter under the 2014 Player's Handbook, it in no way, shape, or form resembles the fighter in the 2024 Player's Handbook. And the rules now default to 2024. So if you want to be backwards compatible with the 2024 fighter, you can't be, because the 2024 fighter has way more abilities, way more things going for it. It is completely different. The engine may be the same, but the hood doesn't match the engine. And more likely, the engine is changed drastically too, it sounds like, in order to reflect the new math. So if you change the math, if you change the basic layout of the fighter so that it no longer resembles the previous fighter, then yes, it's a new edition. So if you were waiting for him to 100% admit, yes, it's a brand new edition, this is 6E, we lied, that's never going to happen. They've invested way too much time and energy in trying to convince people it's not, because they don't want to lose the audience they have, and they think this is the best way to do it. as opposed to just coming out and saying, yes, it's 6th edition. So, and possibly losing fans. I don't know if they would have lost that many fans, you know, by saying, yeah, you have to make all new characters. Everything's different, because you still have to make all things different. You still have to make new characters. You still have to change characters. My 5e character, the last 5e character I played, would have to be changed to fit the new rules. And it would look completely different. It would be, for all sense and purpose, a brand new character with the same name and the same basic class. Or maybe a completely different class, because now I might look at it and go, oh, well, my last 5e character was a sorcerer, but now I'm looking at sorcerer and I'm looking at, I don't know, what's another arcane caster? And I'm looking at warlock, and warlock does what I wanted to do better. Oh, you know what? Actually, wizard does. I should have... Now under 6E, you know what I mean? Because that's happened before, you know. When I switched from 3E to Pathfinder, my character worked way better as a Pathfinder bard than he did as a Pathfinder cleric. So the DM said, yeah, let's change him to a bard because it's more of what you have been playing him as. So my second level 3.5 bard became a second level Pathfinder. Second level cleric became a second level bard in Pathfinder when we switched. So yeah, I had to make a brand new character with the same name and the same personality. So if I brought my last character into 6E 2024, Crawford is telling me I would have to completely rebuild the character from scratch. And in doing so, I might find that the idea works better in a different class. Oh, this was a bard the whole time. This was a sorcerer. Oh, this was a monk the whole time. So it is a new edition, but he will never admit that. So again, 90% of the time, I completely disagree with her. But, you know, I get it. I get Ginny D. I don't have to like what Ginny D does, but I get what she does and why she does it and how she does it and the way she does it. And, you know, give her some props. She has made a very, very lucrative life out of knowing how to mess around and manipulate her niche and her audience and her algorithm. So, you know, I can hate her, but I can also be jealous of her. Like, fuck, I wish I was that smart. And as she changes and ages and wants to do things differently with her life, she changes the way she presents herself and, you know, has shown that she knows how to do it to keep her audience with her. And this is one of those times where we see the 10% of where we see how smart she is and how manipulative she is and how she can get Crawford to admit shit that he might not have admitted otherwise. So congratulations, Miss D. Not that any of us care, you know. In closing, we all know it's a new edition. We've known it's a new edition since day one. We know Wizards of the Coast has lied to us. We know what Wizards of the Coast has been planning since 2020. Anybody who's been paying attention to anything I've said for the last 5 years, almost daily, should not be surprised. There we go. That's it. Till next time, stay safe. And if you really are looking for a tabletop role-playing game to purchase that's completely different, I don't know, why don't you buy my merch? What?
Yo, check. Yeah, we not